Hey guys, Kiermango here. Today I'm going to go over the new mini expansion cards from Steel Rebellion. I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts on them initially, and give them like a kind of arbitrary rating. First up is the neutral card. There's going to be one neutral card with the mini expansion. It's a 3 play point, 2/3 with ward. It's Grimir. Grimir is back. He's slightly different this time. This time he has enhanced 7 and deal X damage to all enemy followers. X equals the number of times that allied followers have evolved this match. And we've seen Steel Rebellion has a very strong theme of evolving your followers without using evolve orbs. So this easily could get up to 4 or even 5 or 6 damage. And that's a lot. That's like a full board clear just for 7 play points. And it leaves it behind a 2/3 with ward, which is actually very relevant against big storm followers. Yeah, very, very strong card. I'm going to give it a full rating of a 5 out of 5. This card's really, really good, especially with the combination of all of the free Evo cards that are in the game right now. Next up, we have the Forest cards. This is the Forest Gold. Milolo, Little Mountain Lass. She has 3 play point 2/2, and whenever you play a spell, evolve this follower. Yeah, you get a free Evo, so it's kind of like a 4/4 rush if you have a spell with you. Costs kind of like a combination of probably 1 play point spell at this on turn 4 is okay. Yeah, later in the game, the Evo is easier to pull off. And you can combine this evolution follower with Odin in the late game. You can combine it with Jafar for a combo where you play this and Jafar, and then you play a spell and you evolve both of them. Yeah, it's a pretty good combo enabler for Forest, but it doesn't do much else. It doesn't have an extra ability. All it does is evolve for free if you have a spell. And I don't know if there's much room in the Forest deck for this, because outside of that ability, it doesn't do anything else. It's just a 3 play point 2/2. So I'm going to give this card a 2.5 out of 5. It's maybe like in the middle. Next we have Lord of the Varjano Marsh, the Forestcraft legendary. It's 8 play point 6/6 with ambush, and fanfare. If your leader, give your leader the following effect during your turn. Whenever an effect returns 1 or more cards to a player's hand, deal X damage to enemy leader. X equals 2 times the number of cards left to play. This does not stack, and when you evolve it, it will return an enemy follower to its opponent's hand. So Forest kind of has a bunch of bounce effects. It has a bunch of them, but doesn't really use them that often. So maybe this will be a very interesting way to use that. In limited, you have cards like Homecoming where you turn everything to hand. So there's crazy combos like that. But for rotation, I'm not sure there's enough bounce effects to make the Lord of the Marsh playable. But it's a very interesting effect. These kind of leader effects that just do things passively are very, very strong usually. So I wouldn't write this guy off. For now, he's going to get a 3.5 out of 5. Next we have Azord, Duke of the Mist. He's 7 play point 3/4 with fanfare, deal 2 damage to all enemy followers. We've seen this kind of effect before. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. 2 damage, it really depends on the meta. He also has Accelerate 2, randomly summon Lij, Butler of the Mist, or Sheena, Maid of the Mists. He's also a commander. Butler of the Mist is a 2 play point 2/1 with ward, so he essentially is a Minotaur, and he's an officer. He's an officer Minotaur. With last words, put Azord, Duke of the Mists, without Accelerate into your hand. So you will get your Azord back. Yeah, 2/1 with ward, not very strong. But you get the Duke back, so it's all right. The Maid of the Mists is a 2-play point 1/2 with Bane. A little bit stronger because a one attack doesn't really matter when you can kill everything with Bane. And last words, you get Hazord back without the accelerate. So yeah, Hazord is decent. It really depends on the meta with his 2 damage. If there's a lot of, like, let's say there's another card like Arthur comes back, fills the board with a bunch of small followers, this would be decent. There's not too much of that right now, where you just have a bunch of really small followers. It's really right now some mix of big followers and small followers, so it's kind of hard to just play this card in your deck. But it's an interesting effect. It's not that bad. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Next we have Sword Flash Panther, 5 play point, 4/5. And during your turn, when this card is added to your hand from your deck, reveal it, then give +1 attack to a random allied follower. That's a very interesting effect. So, essentially get a free 1 damage. You have a follower on board, and you draw the Panther. It's very strong in the early game, where it makes it easier to trade, or get early damage on the opponent. And it also has Fanfare, evolve another allied follower whose attack or defense has been increased by a spell or effect. Evolve effects will not activate that follower. So I think this works very nice with like Aether, because when you play Aether on like turn 4, you know you're going to get that effect. You know something's going to get buffed. Like you know your Aether's probably going to get buffed. Maybe she can evolve and kills it with 5 health. That's pretty powerful. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You need to probably have more consistent ways of buffing your followers for really cheap, so you can combo that with the Panther. Because just relying on the Panther to buff a follower is kind of tough. Because maybe on the turn that you draw the Panther, you might not have a follower, or you might not even have enough play points for the Panther yet. So it's kind of a random effect, but very interesting. For now, I'm going to give him a 2.5 out of 5. I don't know where we're going to play the Panther, but I don't think he's terrible. Clark is back. We have another Clark for Runecraft. 10 play point, 2/3. Of course, it's Runecraft, so you know he's going to find a way to cheat this cost. Is Fanfare, recover 10 play points. And Earth to Right, banish all cards in your hand, then draw 9 cards. And Accelerate, summon Earth Essence, put a Verdict Rune into your hand. Just the summon Earth Essence, put a Verdict Rune in your hand is kind of decent. That by itself, with 4 play points, is just 3 damage, draw a card. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I'm going to look at him by himself, and then I'm going to talk about him with the next card that we're going to see. So he recovers 10 play points. So if you're on turn 7, you don't get 10 play points, you'll get 7 play points. So if you manage to cheat this guy out earlier, then you have 10 play points, you won't actually get them all back. So if you want to play this one, you have probably 9 or 10, so you get maximum value. Earthright, banish all cards in your hand and draw 9. That's nice. Runecraft usually has a full hand a lot of the time, because it has really expensive followers and spells. So usually his hand's full, but this is an okay effect. And just in case your hand is not full. Yeah, I don't know. So you're getting a free 2/3. Is that really worth it? You can combo, it costs 10, so you can combo that to get you towards your Prophetess. So it could be your 10 cost, essentially a free 10 cost, but I don't know if that's better than a Flame Destroyer. It's hard to rate this guy, but he has a decent Accelerate. I'm just going to give him a 3 out of 5 for now. Next we have Solomon, Lord of Magic. He's a 2 play.22. With fanfare, put a Seal of Solomon in your hand and subtract X from its cost. X equals the number of times this card has been spell boosted. Okay, pretty straightforward. The Seal of Solomon is a 7 play point spell, and randomly put one of the highest cost followers that costs X play points or less from your deck into your hand. Change cost to 0. X equals the number of times this card has been spell boosted. So if you spell boost this card 10 times, you will get Clark back if you have Clark in your deck, and you can play Clark for free, and you get your 10 play points back, so you can play a bunch of things on your turn. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, so there's that aspect where you can do a super big combo turn. Also, what you could do is you could spell this 9 times and get a free Lord of Concoctus, or Prince of Concoctus, I mean. That's also very strong. Because what you can do is you can play your free Prince of Concoctus, get the Concoctus deck, and then start drawing cards and playing those Concoctus cards right away. So there's that aspect of so there are much different ways to go with this. I think it's a very, very strong effect. This can cost very little because you can spell boost your Solomon a bunch of times, and then you have to spell boost your Seal of Solomon. 9 is quite a bit spell boost, but if you get this out early somehow, it can be pretty good. Like, you can even just play Solomon on turn 2 and then spell boost this 9 times and then play it on turn 7, and it's still a decent effect. Just play a 7 play point. Prince of Concoctus is pretty good. I'm going to give this guy a 4 out of 5 for now. Yeah, he's very, very, very strong. Moving on to Dragoncraft, we have Ruinous Dragon at 5.55, pretty good stats for a 5-drop, with put a Lightning Blast in your hand. If Overflow is active for you, subtract 1 from the cost of that card. Okay, so if Lightning Blast is necessary for the meta, this will be good. Like, let's say for some reason people are playing Lapis a lot and you need to get rid of the amulet. Having a Lightning Blast would be good for that. If there's a really strong last word follower, you need to get rid of having Lightning Blast would be good for that. So this is an option to put in your deck to get that Lightning Blast. And if you have Overflow, you get subtract 1 from it, so the Lightning Blast will go from 6 to 5. That means you can play Ruinous Dragon and Lightning Blast on the same turn if you have 10 play points, which is pretty easy for Dragoncraft. So it's an option. I think it's alright. It kind of looks bad, but it's a good option if Lightning Blast is necessary for the meta. Right now it's not really necessary, but maybe in the future. If you don't know, Lightning Blast is a 6 play point spell that just banishes amulet or follower. Yeah, pretty decent. It's not terrible. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5, and it really depends on the meta if this card's gonna be played. Next we have the Dragoncraft Legendary Dagon, Lord of the Seas. He's a 10 play point 10/10, and he can't take more than 4 damage at a time, and can attack 3 times per turn. It seems like he's hard to kill, right? Because he can only take 4 damage at a time. But there's a lot of Bane, just like straight up removal that will just get rid of him. So he's not really reliable. If he survives a turn, you do win the game. So there's that. He just wins the game if he doesn't die. Also, if you only evolve, you can just clear the board with him. That's another option, but you need to have an evolve. Yeah, I don't know about Dagon. He seems like just like a card that you can play to surprise your opponent, but there's a lot of Bane. There's a lot of ways of just killing the Lord of Dagon with destruction abilities. Yeah, he doesn't seem that good right now. So for now, he's getting a 2 out of 5. I don't know if you can really play this card. Moving on to Shadowcraft, we have a gold card 4 play point 4/4 Hellfire Hound. It has Fanfare Enhanced 7. Gain the ability to evolve this follower for 0 play points. That's... yeah, you get a... so playing 7 for a 6/6 with Rush is not ideal, but I guess it's free. Evolve. On Evolve, Necromancy 6, gain the following effect. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower 4 times. That's a lot of Necromancy for its effect. So it happens once. You get 1 damage, randomly hits an enemy follower, and you do this 4 times. Yeah, that feels kind of weak, actually, for Necromancy 6. Like, Necromancy 6 should be a really powerful effect, like almost a straight up board clear. This just like links at their opponent's board a little bit, doesn't really do much. Stat wise, he's a 4/4/4/4, which is pretty much the standard for having a follow without an effect, having a 4/4. That's pretty good at stats, but Necromancy 6 is just too much, I think. He's overcosted for Necromancy, and his effect is not good enough to be worth the cost. So I'm giving him a 2 out of 5. Next we have Colossal Skull-Lord, 7 play point 6/6. End of your turn, deal 3 damage to non-Machina followers. He has trait Machina. Yeah, so just play him, pull all opponent's non-Machina cards, take 3 damage, pretty good board clear. 3 hits a lot of things. Yeah, and Shadowcraft card, Machina, you can revive him multiple times, or pull him from your deck for free. Very strong. Only issue is if Machina is a very strong archetype in the meta, and everyone's playing it, he might not even do any damage to anything. So there's that. So it's kind of meta dependent, but currently he seems very strong. I'm going to give him a 3.5 out of 5. I think this will make Shadowcraft Machina maybe a tier 1 deck, because it's already very strong. This might be the card that kind of tilts it over. Next we have the Bloodcraft Gold, Dublame, Duke and Dame, 2 play point 2/2. With Fanfare, Vengeance act for you. Choose, put either a Peckish Owlcat or a Leparion into your hand, and it also has Evolve. Do the same thing. Okay, Owlcat's back. I'm a Bloodcraft card. It is a 2 play point 1/2 with Ward, and Fanfare, destroy an enemy follower with 1 attack or 1 defense. I'm trying to think if there's a follower with 1 attack that's worth using this effect on. I don't think so. Or I can kill him with 1 defense, so it just pings 1 damage essentially, but only if it's at 1 defense. That was pretty weak. I'm sorry, Owlcat, but I don't think you're very good. Maybe, if in the future, there is a very strong follower with 1 attack that you need to get rid of, but right now, other than maybe the puppet from Portalcraft, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he has 1 attack. So you can get rid of that, but that's like only 1 card. It's you don't see that card very often. Leparion is a 2 play point 2/1 with Storm. That's pretty good. That's just good. 2/1 with Storm for 2 is very strong in an aggressive deck. Would you want to play this card to do that? Maybe Leparion is worth it, but right now it doesn't seem like it to me. I'm gonna give this card a 2.5 out of 5. I don't think it's terrible. It just I don't think it's worth putting in your deck as a 2 play point option. Next we have the Bloodcraft Legendary. It is a Machina card. It's a Slain Steel Rot Vampire. It is a 6 play point 6/6. If you have at least 7 other cards in your hand, gain Drain. Oops. And then if you have 3 to 5 other Machina cards in your hand, gain Rush. If you have 6 or more, gain Storm. This is kind of tough. Blood has a lot of card draw, so I don't think like getting Rush is not too hard to do. I think it's always gonna have Rush, and it's possible that Drain is gonna be very common, but I think a Storm is gonna be very difficult. So it's gonna be kind of high roll to get the Storm, because I don't know if there's enough Machina cards in your deck to really get this effect every time, unless you're holding all your Machina cards. But in a Machina Bloodcraft deck, you want to be playing all of your Machina cards really fast, so you can get your mono effect right away. So it's like important to just keep on throwing out your Machina cards, and then in your hand, all the late game cards tend to be like non-Machina cards, like the Succubus or Odin that you're holding onto. So yeah, it's very powerful if you get the Storm, and it's decent if you get Drain and Rush. Drain and Rush, 6/6 for 6. That's very good. It just heals you for a ton, and probably leaves a body behind that the opponent has to deal with. So I think it's a good card. I think it's gonna give this guy a 4 out of 5. If this Storm is very common, then he's gonna be insane. Next we have Sonya, Protector of Hope. It's a 4-play point 4/4 with Ward, Enhance 7, gain +3/+3, and the following effect can't be destroyed by spells or effects. And by default, she cannot be targeted by enemy spells and effects. Yeah, so just a very decent Ward card. Problem is that when you play this, the opponent's just going to evolve over it and kill it. Being a 4/4 is decent because the opponent can't kill it with a 2-drop. So a lot of 2-drops will evolve on turn 4, so you can play 2 2-drops and just evolve one of them and kill something. So this stops that, like from them getting the value trade, but it doesn't really put you ahead on the board. This is good for later in the game when you need a strong ward to protect you from big storm. Yeah, it's okay. I guess 7/7. 7/7 for 7 with this effect is pretty annoying for the opponent to get rid of. So if you want to slow down the game, this is a decent card for that. I'm gonna give her a 2.5 out of 5. She's all right. Maybe if she was like a 3/5, then we were talking. But yeah, it'd be too good. Next, we have the legendary, the Untrue God, 5 play point 3/3. They put a random Havencraft amulet that costs X play points from your deck into play. Activate its fanfare effect, excluding choose and target effects. Then put a random Havencraft amulet that costs Y into play from your deck, and activate the fanfare effects. Same thing. X and Y equals 4 split randomly, so it could be 0 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 2. Yeah, so pretty interesting. You probably want to build your deck to have 1-drop amulets, 2-drop amulets, 3-drop amulets, and 4-drop amulets, so you can get every single roll. 4-drop, you have the one to make the tiger, so you can get like a 3/3 and a 4/4 for 5. It's not too bad, so it's okay. Other ones that are better is a 2 play point amulet makes a tiger, and you get another 2 play point amulet, like let's say Moray. So you get a 3/3, a 4/4, and you destroy enemy follower, and you draw a card. That'd be very good. There's also the 1 play point amulet that makes a 5/3. So you get that when you get a 3 play point amulet that makes a dragon. So you get a 6/6 and a 5/3 and a 3/3. That's insane. That's so many stats for 5 play points. So yeah, you get the Pegasus, was a 5/3, and you get a dragon at 6/6, and you get a 3/3 body. I feel like that's the perfect high roll for the Untrue God. That I feel like that would make the deck playable. And then you can kind of just put this in a Baki deck, so you can get this and play it early, so you can use those amulets in your deck, and then get the Baki later in the game, and just try to win with her or him later. They also kind of look the same. They kind of have the same art, so I think they might be related. I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 5, maybe a 3.5. We'll see. I feel like this is gonna be a very fun card to play. Next we have Puppet Troop Master, 3.22. Fanfare, put a puppet in your hand. It's a Portalcraft card. And Evolve, put 30 puppets in your deck, and give your leader the following effect: end of your turn, draw a card. It does not stack. 30 puppets in your deck is actually pretty bad, because you want to be drawing real cards every turn instead of puppets. 30 puppets in your deck means you're essentially going to be drawing puppets most of the time, and that's not very good. Like, yeah, puppets are very strong in Portalcraft because they do a lot of combo things. They activate Lashana, they add count for your Maisha, so they do all those things. But you'd rather be drawing your regular cards. You would rather be drawing removal and followers you actually play. So 30 puppet deck is usually bad, but he gives you the extra effect of drawing another card. So you're drawing 2 cards per turn, one to start your turn, one to end your turn. So it kind of makes up for the fact that you have all these puppets in your deck. So you're more likely going to hit non-puppet card when you're drawing 2 cards per turn. So very interesting. Very interesting. I'd almost want his effect to just be put a puppet in your hand every turn. Maybe that would be too good. I don't know if that's because that'd be less random than this. This is pretty random. I don't know how to rate him. He's very interesting. I think I'm gonna give him a 3 to 5 for now. Just this effect. It's really cool. We'll see how it plays out. And this is the last card of the mini expansion. Baphomet, Lord of Ilion. He's the big bad guy of the story. He's a Portalcraft Machina follower, 6.66. Banish all Machina cards in your deck. Put X, Trisophon, Y, Electo, and Z, Megaira. I don't know. Zero fines probably get mad at me for mispronouncing these. X, Y, and Z equal the number of Machina cards banished from your deck split randomly. And Evolve, put a random Machina card from your deck into your hand. So you always get one of the robots that he makes, because all your other Machina cards will be gone. Okay, let's look over these what these guys do. So 8 play point, 8/7 with Rush, can attack 2 times per turn. Whenever this follower attacks enemy follower, deal X damage to that follower before it can deal any damage in return. X equals this follower's attack. Just kills 2 giant things for 8 play points. That's very good. If it survives, you win the game, because it will just attack the opponent twice and win the game. Very annoying to deal with. The other one is an 8 play point 7/7 with summon 2 assembly droids. Whenever an allied Mechana follower comes into play, give it +3/+3. So you get a 7/7 and 2 4/4s. You don't win the game right away if it survives, but you pretty much do, because everything else that you play after this will get super buff. Very, very strong, but it does not affect the board right away. And the last one is 8 play point 5/11. It's like interesting stat line. With Bane, deal 5 damage to a random enemy follower and 6 damage to enemy leader. That's a lot of damage to face. I feel like you can play like 2 of these or 3 of these and you just win the game. 5 damage to enemy follower gets in with an ambush. Pretty decent. And he's got Bane, so he kills everything. He already has a lot of attack, but he kills everything anyways because he's Bane. And he's super hard to remove with just like straight up removal effects because he's 5'11". Yeah, so those are all the 3 robots you get. And you get a random number of them in your deck. You're not really guaranteed to draw them right away because like your deck also has regular cards in it. Not like you replaced all of your Machina cards. Interesting. So maybe a control Portalcraft deck could be playing this guy, and you just have a bunch of removal as regular cards, and then you try to win the game by playing a Trisophone and just having survive, or playing a bunch of the Megaria and just killing them with the 6 damage phase. So seems very powerful. I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 5. He's like, these cards are very, very strong. Of course, it's RNG. You play this guy, and then they never show up before you die. That's possible. Because you're kind of taking the turn to turn 6, just playing a 6/6. It's not too bad. But the follow-up is nothing on turn 7 because you're not playing any of these things. So you have to have a lot of removal in your deck, pretty much. Yeah. So that's the mini expansion. Let me know in the comments what you think. A lot of interesting cards. I really want to try the Untrue God. He seems like a fun card. What else? Machina Shadowcraft, obviously. And Solomon Runecraft, either Prince of Cactus or combo version with Clark. Those seem very interesting. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, all those things. And I'll see you guys on my next stream.